Welcome again. This is Access Arts Live, your source for updates and information about upcoming live streams of the performing arts. I'm John Paval. I'm here with this week's updates of a fantastic series of live streams coming from Germany, from France, and from Australia for the first time, which we're very happy to tell you about. The first of these will be Friday, June 21st, which will be at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 in the morning Central European Time. That'll be 5 a.m. on the East Coast in the U.S. I don't think you'll want to get up for that unless you're a true Bach fanatic. But 2 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time, and that might be worth getting up early for on late Thursday night, early Friday morning. The Bach Akademie Australia is going to be live streaming on the Australian Digital Concert Hall. Now, the Australian Digital Concert Hall live streams all kinds of different performances by different groups across Australia, and they're moving into the height of their concert season because it's wintertime down under. So in the upcoming weeks through the summer, when some of these other orchestras and opera houses in Europe are going into their summer vacation, the Australians are going to be cranking up. Anyway, this Friday at 11:30 a.m. Central European Time, the Bach Akademie Australia will be streaming live from the Paddington Uniting Church in Gadigal Country, which is in Australia. They'll be performing a multifaceted selection of all different kinds of works by Bach in the field of chamber music. It will include pieces for the keyboard, like sections of the well-tempered clavier, the violin concerto in A minor, and arias like, I have to read this for you, Wie zittern und wanken der Sünder Gedanken, how they tremble and waver, the thoughts of a sinner. Now there's a charge for this. You have to buy a 1-week subscription, or you buy a ticket and a 1-week subscription comes with it. It's 15 euros, 25 Australian dollars, and 16.50 US dollars. So I encourage you to at least sample it, because there might, for those of you who are Europeans, you might have a whole series of lovely early morning concerts. If you're French, dans la matinée. It's a perfect time to hear concerts in the summertime. Later in the day, Friday, June 21st at 7 o'clock in the evening, Central European Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 10 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time, Operavision is back free of charge, as always, with a live stream of Opera North, way up north in the UK, performing Benjamin Britten's Albert Herring. Now, this is a story about the inhabitants of a little town in Suffolk, but it's actually based on a story by the French author Maupassant about the inhabitants of a little village in rural France. If you don't know the story, it goes like this. The local committee, which has to choose the annual May Queen in the village each year for the May Day celebration, they can't come up with a suitable candidate. The moral qualities of the various women to choose from are considered undesirable or not sufficient. So instead they choose a really nice young man, a May King, who his name is Albert. That's the name of the Albert Herring, and he runs the local produce shop with his mother. Well, from there it all goes downhill or uphill in hilarious fashion. So if you're looking for a good laugh on Friday evening in Europe or during the day in the U.S., this is it. The ensemble includes some people who are favorites of Opera North, like David Jones in the role of Albert and Katie Bray as Nancy, whom you may have seen in other Opera North productions, which have sometimes been live streamed by Operavision. It's conducted by Gary Walker and directed by Charles Havergal. So that's it for Friday. Then on Saturday, again, you have competing live streams between the Berlin Philharmonic and Stage Plus, the Deutsche Grammophon group. Both of them are at 8 in the evening European time, 2 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time, and 11 in the morning on the West Coast of the U.S. The Berlin Philharmonic is live streaming its hugely popular annual finale for the year. It's an open-air concert at this fantastic place called Waldbühne, for an audience which numbers around 20,000 people. So the selections are very lively and very listenable favorites, starting out with Of course, something like Mussorgsky's Night on Bald Mountain in the Rimsky-Korsakov arrangement, followed by, now here's something really special, Yuja Wang, who is just like an amazing pianist, blazing away at Prokofiev's first piano concerto. She's so good. If you look at reviewers, they say that her technique is superhuman, that it's astounding. They can't believe how good she is. We will post, together with the link and all the links in the comment section, we'll give you a link to Yuja Wang's page so you can find out more about her if you don't know her already. The second half of the program is a round of lovely pieces by Ravel, the very sweet and sad Pavan pour un enfant défunt, the Pavan for a child who has died. And then the very sweet, the dreamy Daphnis and Chloe, suite number 2, very mythological. And then a bang-up send-off with Ravel's Bolero. So that's a great concert. At the same time, though, Stage Plus is live streaming the phenomenal bass baritone Britten Terfel singing, or Terfel, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, singing Beethoven's Celtic folk songs at the Festival Saint-Denis in Paris, France. Yes, Beethoven arranged a number of Scottish, Irish, and Welsh folk songs to be performed in 19th century drawing rooms in dear old Deutschland. I mean, who knew? I didn't, and I thought I knew a lot about Beethoven or something anyway. The arrangements have been updated a bit to be more orchestral, I believe. Terfel will be joined by a specialist on the Celtic harp, on the flute, on bagpipes and percussion, and by the Orchestre Nationale de Bretagne, the National Orchestra of Brittany, that very Celtic corner of northeast France, all under the baton of the apparently very Welsh conductor Grant Llewellyn. We'll post the link to Bryn Terfel's page just in case there's anyone on the planet who loves classical music who doesn't yet know about his extraordinary career. Well, that's it for this weekend. I think you've got a great selection with Bach from Australia, with Britten from the UK, with the Berlin Phil playing a popular open-air concert, or, with Bryn Terfel singing something you've probably never heard before. On Saturday, it's a choice between things you've probably heard before many times, or hearing these Celtic folk songs arranged by Beethoven, which I never heard of them. So it's a lovely weekend. Now, the Berlin Philharmonic and the Stage Plus, you have to buy a 1-week subscription to their website in order to see these concerts. That's €9.90 or about $11 US. But the Benjamin Britten Albert Herring is free of charge, and I've already told you about the cost of the Australian production. That's all for this weekend. Once again, feel free to let us know if there's anything that we haven't talked about that you know about, because we would love to help promote in this way and send out individual announcements for as many live streams as we can. We encourage you also to subscribe or follow our pages on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and to repost on those pages to help us gather together the enormous audience for the performing arts that we know is out there. There are viral videos of people singing opera or ballet à l'improviste, just improvising it, that get 10, 20, 30, 40 million views. There's a Vivaldi quartet, which got over 140 million views on social media. Now, with those tens and hundreds of millions watching, there's no reason why tens or hundreds of millions of people cannot be watching performances like this, or at least hundreds of thousands and millions. And that could radically change the whole economics of the performing arts online, so that more and more orchestras and opera houses and theaters and artistic circuses could join in to, get in on this, on the benefits, the financial revenue stream that it could provide. Because we all know governments around the world they're cutting the subsidies more than ever before. Where can the funding come from? It can come from this. Ciao for now. Have a great musical week.